So I wasn't gonna make any videos today or live stream or anything. That was until I saw the PlayStation Classic list. The final lineup has been announced. I kind of want to talk about it. So let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Jay from the Gamebustersuk. Welcome back to another Geek discussion talking about all things geeky, mainly gaming. And today we're going to be talking about, again, my favorite console of all time, the PlayStation 1. Of course, now we're getting the PlayStation Classic, for those of you who don't know, and we already got announced 5 games confirmed for the system. We were all speculating what the rest of the games were. The whole lineup was going to be 20 games in total. It has now been confirmed. Now, I did make my own PlayStation Classics video where I basically talked about my ideal lineup. So if you haven't seen that, make sure to go check that out. I'll put the link in the description. And basically had some fun with you guys. We're also in the comment section putting down your list as well, so you guys can still go over and do that. But this is the list, guys. This has been announced, and overall I'm kind of disappointed with this list. For me personally, I'll be honest. Now I can't speak for every single game because there are games like first person shooters and stuff that I don't really play, so you know, for me it's kind of like I'm going to be somewhat biased and be like, okay, I want more platformers on there. But in terms of variety, if these games are good, that's fine. But without further ado, guys, let's get on with this list. So the first game that we don't know of that got announced was a fighting game that I've never heard of, which is called Battle Arena Toshiden. Now, I believe I've heard of a game called Toshiden, but not Battle Arena Toshiden. From what I've heard, it is a fighting game. Apparently, it's sort of similar to how Soul Edge Soul Blade was. It's basically like Soul Edge before Soul Blade. It's a fighting game where they tend to use weapons instead of like pure Street Fighter, you know, beat 'em up with fists and stuff. So yeah, it does sound very Soul Edge before Soul Blade, Soul Calibur. And to be honest, I've never played a Soul Calibur game. I'm just bad at fighting games. I don't have a problem with fighting games. I like fighting games. I'm just so bad at them. And I just don't dedicate myself. So it's just kind of like, I probably would play them more, especially if I had more friends to play with as well. Because I'm not really a big fan of online. So if I had more friends to play with, I'm sure I would like get into maybe other games like Soul Calibur, other fighting games and stuff. But I'm a lone dude for the most part. So single player campaigns, you know, they're okay, but I don't know, you can get bored of playing with the AI. It's more fun to play with friends. So, but I mean, from what I've read, it seems like it was, you know, a very influential game that kind of, you know, pushed 3D side-scrolling fighters, you know, like Tekken and Street Fighter and all those types of games, and Soul Calibur and stuff. And apparently it was well received. So great. I mean, hey, if it's a great fighter, another great fighter, sure, I'm fine with that. But I can only say so much because, like, it's going to be like this for a lot of the list of the games. I'll just put it out there because it's not like I've played every PlayStation 1 game. Not yet, anyway. I'm all for trying something new for me since I've never even heard of this game. So, which makes me wonder if, like, some of these games were even released over here, because obviously sometimes there are exclusive games that were like only released outside of Japan to like Western audience like America, and not over here, and we didn't get it. And I'm sure there's some games that are only released in Japan and Europe, and America can get it. So I'm not so sure. I think this game was released in Europe from what I read. So again, it's just probably just another game that was still not on my radar when I was young. I just didn't see it perhaps or know about it, but none of my friends know about it, so I kind of have no opinion on it. But it seems like it could be a fun fighting game. So yeah, that's the first list. And I suppose let me know if any of you guys have heard of this game or played this game, and let me know your thoughts. Is it a good game? Is it great? Are you glad it's on this list, or are you not glad? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And the next game, which I'm not sure about this trait either. I've played this game before though, and that is Cool Borders 2. Cool Borders 2, yeah, I think I had the demo for this, and I used to play it a lot. When I was younger, I was really into my skateboarding. Part of it's why I like Spyro the Dragon skateboarding minigame. And I used to play a lot of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the PlayStation 1. And I mean, if anything, wouldn't you think to put maybe Tony Hawk's Maybe it's a license thing, I'm not sure. Maybe it's like, well, we can't put it on this, so we'll put Cool Borders 2. I enjoyed Cool Borders 2 for what it is. It's an alright game. Still not sure about it being on this list though. I mean, I wouldn't call it iconic, in my opinion. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's an alright snowboarding game, but it's just like, well, we're talking about an era now where most games are online, and I feel like with games like these, they now kind of need to have online. Obviously, it wasn't like that back in the day, back in my day, you know, and maybe that's why I prefer single player mode. This was all I had. I don't know. But I feel like these days it's kind of like, it might not appeal to many people. Maybe, you know, the whole point is that it appeals to people like myself, those who grew up with PlayStation. We can appreciate it more. But I feel like to other people that are like, especially younger audience, who are like, well, you know, there's no online or anything. At least I assume. I don't even know how that will work. You can play with your friends, but like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Cool Borders is still a very odd choice, in my opinion, to be on the list. That's just me. I don't know. I enjoyed what it was, but I mean, it's what can I say? It's snowboarding. You like snowboarding? There you go, I suppose. So yeah, that's Cool Borders 2. Another game I believe I used to have. I think I might have borrowed it from my cousin or something. I remember playing it a lot, but I don't think it was mine. I think I like borrowed it and then maybe gave it back to my cousin. And that is Destruction Derby. Now, it is what you think it is. Like, literally, you are driving a car and you're pretty much just like in this ranch, just smacking into other cars. It's like bumper cars, really. You're smashing into other cars. You can do like crazy stunts, but the whole point is just like blowing cars up and stuff. And it's a fun little distraction, but that's all it is. That's all I would call Destruction Derby. Now, if there's someone who happens to be watching this like, oh no, it's more than that, then please let me know. But from what I remember, it's literally what you think it is. It's just a fun little distraction. You know, you ramming cars. If you're not really into like just straight up racing, you're in for like carnage and stuff, I guess, then have at it and just smack some cars about. But that's all it is. It's a good distraction. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. Not really sure about this being on like this list, being on this list. I'm really like, no. I have fun with what it is, but you're not going to get much out of it, in my opinion. So before things get any more awkward, I'm going to move on to the next game. Intelligence Cube. I've kind of heard of this but never played it. I believe Kadokawa mentioned it and said it was a good puzzle game. It's like a puzzle platformer, I think. Apparently, you control the character, you know, walking around essentially a cube, and you got to fill out the spaces or something. It sounds interesting. I wouldn't mind giving it a go, and I'm all for like puzzles. I like puzzle games. Again, they're great like mind challenges. You know, they're I like them for good distractions when I just want to like challenge my mind for a bit. You know, I love Puyo Puyo and I play Tetris every now and again. So I'm all for more puzzles. Again, I never played it, so if it's a popular game on the system, or if it's, you know, people think it's a good game, then sure. Again, it's one of those things where I never really hear people talk about this type of game, so I don't really know. But you know, if I pick up the PlayStation Classic, I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. Okay, moving on to a game I know for sure that certain someone in my comment section will be happy that's on this list. Mr. Driller. Apologies, man. I've never played Mr. Driller. I've never even heard of it. I was like, Mr. Driller, eh? You could take that any way you want, I suppose. But so I looked it up, and it seems like it is another puzzle type game. Apparently, you play as this guy. Apparently, it's meant to be a part of the Dig Dug series, or was, which is interesting. Plays this guy who's got a drill naturally, and he's like drilling blocks, I guess, to create a path. And blocks are also coming in, so you got to try not to be squashed by blocks. So it sounds like an interesting type of puzzle game. I assume it's a puzzle game. Apologies, please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, it's another game I've not played, but but it sounds interesting, so I wouldn't mind giving it a go. And like I said, I know a certain someone's going to be really happy that, you know, that's on there. And I guess let me know if anyone else has played the game and if you like it and if you're glad it's on the list, or if you're not, maybe tell me some other puzzle game perhaps you want on the system. But yeah, not really much more else to say because I've not played it, but looks interesting and I'd give it a go. Now a game I can talk about. This is more my cup of tea, as it were. As I say, looking at my cup of tea right in front of me. I want to grab it, but I'm recording right now. I'll maybe take a sip, maybe in between, or whatever. But Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Now, I believe Cadocra's this was like, I think he preferred Exodus, and I would probably agree. I think Exodus is probably the better game, because it kind of expands on Odyssey. Odyssey was a great start. Odyssey is a very, very, very hard game, but it's got a lot of charm to it. It's a very stealthy platformer type of game. You know, you play as this alien Mudaka named Abe who's trying to escape Rupture Farms. It's basically this factory run by these evil corporations called the Gluckons. And you've got like these armed henchmen called the Sligs, which will pretty much gun you on sight. And him and his Mudakan kind are basically forced to work for them and treated badly, probably for no pay as well. But now they're considering basically killing his kind and using their meat to sell as products. And so Abe's like, no, I don't want any part of this. And then, you know, he finds out apparently he's some legendary Mudaka, and it's like, you're the only one who can save our race, Abe. And he's like, but poor old Abe. He's like, but, you know, he's scared, man. He's a hard working man. I mean, he was like a cleaner or something, or maybe that was part of his job. And like, he just kind of gets forced into this whole situation. It's like, but why me? Bless him. You know, he makes silly mistakes and stuff. But he has like charm powers. He can possess people, which is always fun and very satisfying to explode those sligs. I'm not a sadist, why do you ask? And you know, commanding your fellow Mudakans to try and save them and stuff. The game's got a lot of charm. I feel like it's very creepy, especially in the farm. It's got a very atmospheric, if I can get my words out, atmospheric sound to it. But I used to be creeped out by the whole setting of it and everything. I mean, there's literal, you know, there's bones, there's some blood, but not really. You know, people getting killed. I mean, the Mudakans get killed. Abe gets sliced up if you're not careful into pieces. It's a, you know, it's kind of a dark game, really, when you think about it in elements. But they still try to have like comedic stuff in there somehow. So yeah, Oddworld's a great game. I'm so glad it's on there. Like, highly recommend giving it a go, but be warned, you will be punished if you've never played an Oddworld game. At least you don't get no game overs, but it's a hard game. So yeah, it's Dark Souls before Dark Souls. It's 2D Dark Souls. Alright, moving on to a very unexpected game, in my opinion. He was on my list. This fella was on my list, but I was like, yeah, I doubt they would put him on here. If anything, I would have thought they would have put the sequel on, even though it's on literally everything. And I'm still waiting for Ubisoft to bring this fella back. Can we get a remaster, or can we get a new 3D game? Please, Ubisoft, please. They put Rayman 1 on the system. Yeah, I talked about this in my lineup. If you haven't checked that out, Action Classics lineup, saying that I chose Rayman 1 to be different, and Rayman 2 is on everything, literally everything. I do think Rayman 2 is the better game, but you know, I'm a little bit biased because I grew up with Rayman 1. It's a very, very hard game. Again, another hard game, but it's such a beautiful kids game in terms of visuals. Like, it's way too hard for a kid, in my opinion, but like visually wise, it is one of the most beautifulest 2D games I've ever played, in my opinion. It's such a beautiful game, so vibrant. The animations are great, and the details, the music is so, you know, lively and catchy. I love this game. It's just, it's so difficult. Like, I wouldn't even say the bosses are particularly hard. It's just the platforming. Like, it will punish you hard in the game. And unlike Oddworld, you have lives. You have limited continues. You will get a game over if you even last that long. Like, even if you, like, you know, if you bother to even finish the game, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that won't bother to finish the game. And it's one of those games where you have to, like, you have to, like, save all of these elections in order to beat the game proper. Otherwise, the last level would be locked out. Basically, you can't play it unless you cheat, which a lot of people was not happy about. I mean, even I'm not happy about it. I'm never happy about it. That's one of the things that's just like, really? Like, you're forced to basically save all the elections. Otherwise, you can't do the final level and the final confrontation with Mr. Dark. So that's really sucky about it. I still thought they would have chosen Rayman 2 because it's the better game. Rayman put himself on the market of platformers. You know, he made a name for himself, and then he moved on to platformers, 3D platformers, I should say, to compete, I guess, against probably Spyro, Crash, and like Sonic and Mario, I suppose. You know, and Rayman 2 was a great success. I mean, it's so great that Ubisoft milked it on like literally everything. You could probably play it on your toaster at this point. But Rayman 1 wasn't as popular, I feel like. There is definitely some fans for it, including myself. But even I would admit Rayman 2 is a better game. So I have mixed opinions. I'm like, really? They put this game on here? I'm not sure if people are going to be liking this or not. I mean, I even know Footless hadn't even beat it, so I doubt he'd be too happy about this. Again, I just feel like, maybe they're trying to go for games that kind of establish themselves. But Rayman 2 is the better game, and I really enjoy Rayman 1, you know. I like Croc. Do I think it's one of the best platformers? No, it's not. It's about average, really. It's got a lot of charm to it, but it could be better, you know. It really could be. It's not Crash or Spyro good, in my opinion. I still like it, you know. So, I don't know, I'm not really sure. The other reason why, like, I'm sort of like, is mainly due to a reason I'm going to talk to after the list. Yeah, sorry to keep you in suspense, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Just wasn't expected to be one, that's all. Yeah, so let's move on. Now, of course, we have to have Resident Evil, and it's the Director's Cut Edition. Again, I even said it myself, I don't play horror games, I've never played a Resident Evil game, but in terms of like horror games, if it's not Silent Hill, I feel like Resident Evil is definitely up there on PS1 to be iconic. So I was like, yeah, just put whatever's the most popular one. I think 2 is still the most popular one, but perhaps they put 1 because it's, again, like, it established itself on the system. And it's kind of funny because recently I've been seeing people have been playing Resident Evil 1, and then this list gets announced and there's Resident Evil 1. So that's kind of interesting, really. And I'll put it out there, if I get the PlayStation Classic, I will 100% give it a go. And I'm a chicken shit, I'm bad with horror games, that's why I don't play them. I have nothing to get against them, I'm just bad at them, really. Yeah, I'm not really a big thing. And, you know, part of it is because I don't really like shooters in general. I know it's like, maybe I prefer like horror games that are more survival but not with shootings. I don't know, I just don't like, I'm just not big on guns, really, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad it's on there because I feel like it needed to be on there. It's iconic, right? In my opinion, on PlayStation 1. So I'm sure Resident Evil fans are going to be really happy that it's on the system. And maybe they didn't put 2 because of the remake. Maybe, not too sure. But yeah, so yeah, Resident Evil's on there, and I think that was a good choice. Moving on to another game I've never played of, I've only heard of. I keep hearing about it every now and again. Is the Persona series, Persona Revelations. I'm guessing, is that the first Persona game? I guess, I don't know. I've never played it. It's an RPG, right? From what I heard, I think from what people have told me, it's sort of like Digimon Story in terms of dialogue. Digimon Story Cyber Sloth. It's the best comparison for me because I've never played Persona, but I've played Digimon Story, and apparently it's sort of similar to like that. It's like Persona but Digimon. Apparently that's what Digimon Story is. So I mean, hey, I know there are people that like Persona. and I'd be willing to give it a go. But I will admit, one of the things I don't like about Digital Story is there's so much dialogue, to the point where I would literally just keep pressing the X or the start button to skip. So if Persona's like that, it might not be my thing. I want to get into the action. If they tell the story well, it's not too bad, but yeah, I'm just too much dialogue. I'm just like, yeah, I don't care, just move on. So other than that, I have no opinion since I've never played the game. If anyone has played a Persona game, let me know what you think of the series. If you think it's good, do you think this was a good choice putting it on there? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you not? Let me know. Because for a newbie who's never played it, I've only heard about it, not sure whether I'd give it a go. But hey, if it's on the system and I get it, perhaps, you know, I'll give it a try if it's there, right? Might as well. Moving on to another puzzle fighter which I've heard of. Inspired by Street Fighter is Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo Remix Ultimate Mega Edition Extreme. No, I made that up, but it definitely ends with Turbo. So yeah, it's a very Street Fighter themed puzzle game from what I heard. It even has, like, I believe, like Street Fighter sound effects and maybe music themed. That's literally all I got from it. I'm not sure what you actually do in the puzzle game. I mean, visually it just looks like columns to me, but there are a lot of games that are like that. Puyo Puyo, Tetris, there's so many games like that. There's probably something you have to do to it. Yeah, it just seems like a very just a Street Fighter theme. It's just kind of like, let's have, like, say Puyo Puyo, but have it Pac-Man themed or something, you know what I mean? That's what it seems like, and it makes Pac-Man sounds. You know, who knows, maybe, like, you choose Ryu and, like, his special abilities, he'll do like a Hadouken and, like, blow up half of his pieces. I don't know. It looks like it could be a lot of fun, and, you know, perhaps Street Fighter fans will be happy that it's on here. And like I said, puzzle games to me are great distractions. For those of you who don't like puzzle games, you might be a bit disappointed, like, another puzzle game, really? Yeah, that's free now, right? If I've got this right with Mr. Driller. Well, I mean, that other game looked more like a platforming puzzle game, but still, I mean, you've got, like, technically free puzzle games. So I don't know. I mean, maybe an odd choice again. I'll give it a go though, because I don't mind puzzle games, but it wouldn't be my choice, probably not, in my personal opinion. But hey, if it did well and people like it, then sure, I'm open to it. Next up, we've got a FPS, I believe, Siphon Filter. Heard this game, never played it. I don't play first-person shooter, guys. What can I say? And I've heard people say to me before, it's like, God, you don't play anything. And I'm like, no, I play stuff. I just mainly stick to platformers and RPGs. I can't help it. That's just what I like. You know, with the occasional fighting games and RPGs. I just said that. Fighting games and puzzle games. You know, and I mean, if you count, like, karts as, like, racing games, I'll play, like, kart games and stuff like that. You know, random titles and stuff. But first-person shooters and racing games in general, and sports games, those three genres are the ones I'll less likely to play. I'm probably more likely to play a horror game than a shooter. Even though I'd probably be able to do better in the shooter because I'd be freaked out in the horror game. But you get what I'm saying. So I have no opinion on it. I'm biased. It's not my type of genre. I hear good things about it though. So I'm assuming it was a good game. Assuming people like it. So yeah. And there's another, like, shooting type game that's also kind of iconic on the system that I haven't mentioned yet. So, I mean, at least that's on there. But once again, I don't really know much about it. I just know apparently it's always to do with, like, a military or something. Siphon Filter apparently is some sort of bioweapon, so it's like one of those types of games. All I can really say is let me know if anyone has played this game and if it's any good, because yeah. I don't play first person shooters or just shooters in general. Not my cup of tea. I say looking at my cup of tea. Yeah. Moving on, we've got another shooter, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. I don't have much to say. Again, it's more shooters. I hear that people like it, so I can assume it's a decent or good shooter. I don't know if it's, like, one of the best or one of the classic shooters of all time or whatever. I have no idea. But again, it needs variety. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, yeah, let's just have all the Crash series on this, have all the Spyro series, because that's just like all the same games and it's like all platformers. So I'm okay with variety. I only think to myself is like, well, try to make people happy. If you know, if people are going to be happy that this is going to be on the system, then sure. But if people first and are like, honestly, I would have preferred something else, then it's just kind of like, well, maybe that's another odd choice for me. Again, I wouldn't have chose it because I'm biased. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much else to say because I haven't played it. But you know what to do. Let me know if you have. Wild Arms. Again, a game I've not played. This was one of the ones that's already been announced. It's an RPG from what I can see, and it looks like I would really enjoy it. So I'm actually looking forward to giving it a go. I think it's a turn-based RPG. So yeah, I mean, I'm bad with Final Fantasy, but I can get into Dragon Quest, so who knows, maybe I can get into Wild Arms. I'll give it a go. It does definitely look interesting in my opinion. So another RPG to give a try, I'm all for it. Yeah. Now here comes that iconic game on the system, and I'm saying this as someone who has never played it. I know Jamie likes it, I know Footloose likes it. I mean, there are a lot of people who really like this this series I should say. I like playing this as character in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I'm sure I like playing as him in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It is Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. So I added that to my list, I believe, saying that it's iconic enough that it has to be on here. Never played the game, not my type of game, but I still acknowledge that people like the game, and Metal Gear Solid is popular. There is a fan base for it. People like the series. I'm not going to get into the whole Kojima or Konami or all that crap, but the first one on the PlayStation 1, because there's obviously Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid, I feel like was the big one. It was the big one. People talk about it all the time. I hear about it all the time. You know, even now, I hear people talk about it. People play it, do let's plays of it. People really like this game. So, again, like certain iconic characters, Snake being on the game, being on the system, 100%, I'm all for it. I can wholeheartedly say someone who hasn't played the game is not really interested to play it personally, because it's my type of game. I know some people are like, Jay, why? And it's like, well, why wouldn't you play the games I like? You know, I don't care, but you know, it's just like, I'm sorry, it's not my type of game, alright? Like, leave me alone. Well, I can acknowledge that it must be a good game because people talk about it all the time. Like Fortnite. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Of course, Final Fantasy 7. I've played it briefly. I sucked at it and I gave up. I always struggle with Final Fantasy games for some reason. I've said this before. But this gives me a choice. Oh, yeah, this gives me a choice. I mean, it does. This gives me a chance to give it a try again. I mean, whenever the remake happens, if it's still going to happen, I don't know. Someone told me on Twitter ages ago that something's going on that might not be happening. I don't know. But, you know, I'd give it a go when it came out, and I really enjoyed Crisis Core on the PSP. That was a lot of fun. It's one of the Final Fantasy games I've actually beaten. 7 is iconic. I'm not surprised it's on there. I think it's a good choice. Cloud is iconic. And maybe they're doing it as well because, like, hey, remake and stuff. I don't know. So, I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I know people are going to be like, oh, I wish it was 8 or 9 or something. But I'm not surprised, you know. So, it gives me an excuse to give the game again another go again. So, yeah, we knew it was on there. And, you know, I think it's too much for me to ask for Brave Fence and Musashi. So, it's fine. It's fine. Let's move on. Now we have a classic type of, well, kind of like Destruction Derby, but not just Destruction Derby. We got Grand Theft Auto. I believe it's the original game. The only Grand Theft Auto I've played, I think, was Vice City. A classmate of mine was playing it, and I was around his house for a bit. Again, not really my type of game. I think my cousin was playing it as well at some point. Not really the type of game, but there's definitely fans for it. I mean, you got, was it GTA 5, and I know loads of people that still play it. People saying it's like the best Grand Theft Auto game of all time, and again, I have no opinion on it. So, but for those of you who like those types of games, I can see why Grand Theft Auto was on there. I don't know how popular Grand Theft Auto 1 is though. Is there a better Grand Theft Auto game on the PlayStation 1? Let me know. Because I don't really know. I don't really hear people talk about the original, so I can only assume it might be like, you know, the first game syndrome, where it's like the first game establishes itself, kind of, you know, it's like, hey, here you go, here's the series, but you know, it had things to iron out. It wasn't the greatest start to the series, but it's the first game, you forgive it, and then the sequel kind of pushes its success and does a lot better, you know. I'm not really sure, so let me know, guys, if you've ever played the original Grand Theft Auto. Do you think it's a good choice, or do you think maybe another Grand Theft Auto game should be on there? Because I think there's 3, right, on the PlayStation 1? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, other than that, I have no opinion on it. So I'm relying on you guys to help me out there. So yeah, Grand Theft Auto is on the list. Now, we've got another type of like kind of like carnage racing game, I believe, where it's kind of like one of those games again where you kind of like blow each other up and stuff. I think that's the whole idea, is just like smacking into each other and blowing each other up with like weapons and stuff. It's kind of like those arena battles in like Crash Team Racing or Mario Kart, you know, where you gotta like blow up the balloons, or like in the arena mode in CTR, you're literally just going around damaging, you know, hitting the opponents to win, and you score points. That is Twisted Metal. I've not played this game. I've only like heard of it and seen some gameplay of it. It looks like a crazy game. Again, I can see it being fun with some friends, messing around, smacking into people. I really enjoyed the arena mode in CTR. So if Twisted Metal is a good game, I can see it being a fun game to play with your friends and stuff. You know. So, but I don't know how successful Twisted Metal is. I don't know what the best game series is or anything like that, but I'd like to give it a go. I'd love to be able to just play it with maybe Jamie or Mark, probably Jamie, or someone, you know, and give it a go and see what it's like. So yeah, once again, guys, let me know if you've ever played a Twisted Metal game and if it's any good, and if you're glad it's on this list or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Moving on to the game we already knew about, once again, is Tekken 3. I believe I only played Tekken 3 around my friends. When I was younger, Leon, he really enjoyed Tekken 3. I think Tekken 3 said it was his favourite. And I played Tekken 4, like a demo of it, years ago, I believe. I was just, again, I'm just bad at fighting games, so I don't even bother. For the most part. I think Dragon Ball Z is the only one I've played, just because I'm really into Dragon Ball Z, or at least I'm not as much anymore. But you know, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a great game and all that jazz. So Tekken 3, I believe, is pretty popular. So it makes sense why it's on the system. I mean, we already knew it was on there anyway, so I'm sure fighting fans will be happy that it's on there. So I won't dawdle on it. Let's move on to the next one. Now, I believe this is the final list. I need to count to make sure I've done this right. Yes, there's one more game I missed. I'll add it to the list. I think we might have known about this. Maybe Jumpin' Flash. I think Jumpin' Flash was on the list. I never even heard of it. I'll be honest. I don't even know. So what I'm actually going to do is, I'm probably going to put a screenshot up anyway, but I'm going to check and see what it's all about. Okay, so Jumpin' Flash is a first-person platformer game. I'm not sure about first-person platformer, but okay. Co-developed by Exact Ultra, published obviously by Sony Computer Entertainment. First installment series that was first released on PlayStation 20th of April in Japan. Okay. Presented in a first-person perspective, the game. Quick edit there, my piece of crap of a camera died on me again, God, I swear the battery on that is like getting worse. I think I've been recording about half an hour and it died, and it was at full battery. Like, what the hell? I don't know. But I'm back. Hopefully the footage was still there, because I really don't want to record this. I've tried recording this like twice already, so I don't really want to record it for a third time, to be honest. Yeah, hopefully the footage was fine. I'll try to, edit it. Yeah, I was talking about Jump and Flash, right? First person platform. I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest. I'm so used to third person, because I personally like to see the character. I like to see the model of the character. I like to see, first person you can see a little bit further, but I want to actually see the character, Can you imagine if it was the first person Sonic the Hedgehog game? Is there? I don't think there is. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm looking at the case. It looks strange. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't even know what it is on the case. So yeah, I don't know. Wasn't it part of the list? I'm not too sure. If anyone has played this, let me know. Is it any good? Because I'll be honest, I'm not immediately interested. I'll be honest. I would have chosen something else personally. So yeah. And now for the last game, which again I think was a part of the list, Ridge Racer Type 4. Again, I kind of gave my thoughts. I played it a lot when I was younger for some reason, but yeah, I'm not really big into racing games, but it's, from what I hear, one of the most popular ones, so it makes sense it is on there. So I don't really have too much of a problem with it. But now that we've finished with the list, guys, do you notice anything about this list? Do you notice anything missing? No? Is it just me? Maybe it's just the platformer in me, but yeah, Crash isn't on this list. Spyro isn't on this list. Can we talk about this? So, my only guess is that because we have Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, and we have the Spyro remake, the Reignite Trilogy, coming out soon, that they didn't feel the need to include PlayStation 1 platform, like iconic platformers on the PlayStation 1. Iconic Spyro and Crash. I don't know, it's the only explanation I can think of, because okay, this is why I was talking about Rayman. If Rayman wasn't on it but Crash was, I'd be like, okay. And I'm not talking about Crash Bandicoot 1, 2 or 3, or Team Racing. Or if Spyro's on there, I'd be like, okay, well, Spyro's on there, Crash is on there, that kind of sucks, but at least one of them's on there. But I don't know, I don't think Rayman 1 is nowhere near as good as Crash or Spyro. Rayman 2 could be a good competitor, but yeah, I'm just like, really? You're gonna put Rayman 1 on there, but you're not gonna put a Crash Bandicoot game or a Spyro game? Crash was pretty much the mascot. These platforming anyway, in Sony's, in the 90s days of Sony and the PlayStation, and with the success of everything, I'm like, you really not gonna put any of the games on the system? Again, the only thing I can think of is that it's well, you're getting modernized, I guess, remastered. And it's oh, we got the remaster, but you've got Oddworld New and Tasty. That's a remaster, but you still put Odyssey on the system. I don't know, man. It's really? Yeah, I'll be honest. Overall, I don't know half these games, and that's part. Big part of it is because I'm very limited to what I'm playing. But there's clearly not many platformers on there. I would say probably the most might be puzzle games and shooters, I guess. Yeah, this list was very underwhelming for me. I was hoping for at least one more platform, whether it be Crash or Spyro, but no. I'm just really? A lot of these games I feel are just quick distractions, in my opinion. It's do they not want you to play long in the system? Spyro and Crash are longer games, but Where's Tomb Raider? I'm surprised Tomb Raider's not on there. Like, what's going on? Like, is it me or is it just me? I'm so confused. Like, what is with this list? Like, I was looking at replies on Twitter, and even a lot of people were like, "Wow, this is such a disappointing list." And I'll be honest, I don't really want to get it. Like, I wasn't going to get it anyway because I thought the price was high anyway, and I don't have the money right now. But if I did have the money, I don't know. Not with this list, I'll be honest. You know, if you threw like either Crash or Spyro on there, I'd be more inclined. And you know, the Rayman is cool, and Oddworld is cool and stuff, but like, and Cool Borders is cool. But yeah, I don't know. This list was weird to me. I have to wonder what direction they were going with this. But overall, I don't personally think paying £80 or whatever, in my opinion, not worth the games that they presented. In my opinion, I'm kind of disappointed in you guys. I'm sorry. That's just what I think. I'm sure there's going to be people out there who are like, yeah, I really like this, and that's fair enough. But for me, it's just like, wow, man. I'm glad they put Metal Gear Solid on there. It's one of the iconic things on there. But how could you like not put Crash or Spyro or even Lara Croft on the system? How? Like, is it like the only thing I can think of potentially is Activision wouldn't let them for Crash and Spyro, but like, why wouldn't they? I mean, it was Naughty Dog and Insomnia. I don't know. Like, is that legal rights? Is it literally Activision's like, no, we're not going to do that? Like, I don't think Activision would be that petty though. I mean, I don't know, but you know, from what I heard, like Activision and Naughty Dog were on like good terms. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like, I don't know of a reason, either it be legal or whether it just be like, well, we've got the Insane Trilogy and we've got the remake, we don't need to put them on the system. But no, I don't know, really, to be honest. I don't think that's good enough. I just don't understand. I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I have the games, I have the games, but that's not the point. When you think of PlayStation, especially platformers, you think Crash and Spyro. You know, I'd be more insulted if Croc got on there. And I love Croc, you know? Yeah, not sure what they were thinking of this list. I'll be honest. It's kind of disappointing. Alright guys, well, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you did like this discussion, then please give me a like on this video, and I will do more PlayStation talks, discussions in the future. Let me know your thoughts on this list, guys. Are you yay? Are you nay? You know, do you have mixed opinions? Are there any games on there you like, any games you don't like? Let me know your opinions on this list, because overall, I'm not really happy with this, I'll be honest. I'm just like looking at it thinking a lot of these are questionable. But then there's a lot of games I haven't played either, so it's just like, I don't know. It kind of just feels like this list wanted to be different and not be as iconic. It has some iconic stuff on there, believe me or not. Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy 7, but there's still like a lot of stuff missing. And it's like, I know that there's another 20 list of games, but it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I expected more, and well, I was disappointed. So yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.